According to research, individuals with dismissive avoidant attachment style are more likely to deactivate emotional closeness when they feel too dependent or too seen. And that's even if they are in relationships that they care about deeply. And that's why it's no wonder that most common advice for people who are with an avoidant dating or in a marriage is just to give them more space. But the truth is that space alone won't fix the disconnect. And in some cases, it can make things even worse. And that's why in today's video, we're going to dive into this misconception that giving avoidance more space is key to getting closer. And I will explain you why it often backfires, and will walk you through 3 specific things that you can do instead to shift the dynamic and build deeper connection with your avoidant if it's still possible. My name is Luna A. May, and I'm a life and attachment style coach and author of books on attachment styles. And my mission here is to help you recognize your emotional patterns and build healthy, secure relationships that you truly deserve. And by the way, my latest book on avoidant attachment style has come out this month in July, and it's available on Amazon. So I encourage you to check it out. The link is in the description box below. But let's dive into the topic of today's video. So many people, and especially people with anxious attachment style, end up walking on eggshells in relationships with avoidance. They are told, back off, don't overwhelm them, be patient, give them space. But when you do that too much, you end up disappearing emotionally. And suddenly, the relationship becomes all about the avoidance comfort and not about your comfort. You're meeting their needs, accommodating their wounds. You're trying carefully not to trigger them. But who's taking care of you? The truth is that secure, healthy relationships will require interdependence, not codependence, not hyper-independence, but something in the middle ground, where 2 people are connected and autonomous, where both partners have their own space and consistent intimacy. Avoidants tend to lean heavily towards independence. So if you just step back and wait, they're not necessarily going to step forward. They may just stay in their comfort zone. That's why we need to approach this in a different manner. The first shift I want you to consider is to set a deadline. And not a deadline for them, a deadline for you. How long are you willing to invest in trying to make this work if your core needs aren't being met? A relationship is 2 people, and each of them is responsible for 50% of the relationship. But I see so many clients giving 120% for their half, while the avoidant partner does very little to meet them halfway. And that's not a good situation. So ask yourself, what are my non-negotiables? How much longer am I willing to invest if I don't see meaningful change? And remember, this deadline is not a threat. It's a boundary with yourself. So for example, if you are dating someone and it's been 6 months and things have felt rocky for the last 2 months, maybe you just give it 2 more months. You go all in with communication and all the tools. But if nothing shifts, you honor your limit. And if it's been a longer relationship, maybe even a marriage, the deadline may look totally different. But the principle is the same. Don't abandon your own needs to avoid losing someone else. The next thing you want to do is to clarify what a healthy balance looks like. And that means talking about how much space do you each need? What kind of connection rituals do you want? How much time together makes you feel emotionally safe? For example, maybe the avoidant partner needs 2 evenings per week alone. And that's fine if you're also getting time for meeting your needs. So for example, a Saturday date night, daily check-ins, or anything that is good for you. By naming your needs and inviting their needs, you're moving toward interdependence. You're saying, I respect your space, but I won't erase myself to protect your comfort. And if this is a pattern you recognize, if you are stuck in cycles of trying harder, pulling back, and wondering why it still hurts, I'd love to support you through my one-on-one coaching. And in our sessions, we don't just talk about attachment patterns. We actively work on rewiring those patterns. So we will dig into the subconscious beliefs, emotional imprints, and nervous system responses. You will find the link to my website in the description box below. Now, let's talk about how you express your needs, because this is where many relationships get stuck. So instead of saying, you never make time for me, you don't care, you say, I'd love us to have one night a week where we fully reconnect, just us, not distraction. This is called positive framing. You're naming what you want, what you need, instead of criticizing what you are not getting, what your partner is not doing. And here is why this matters. It matters because avoidants tend to shut down in the face of emotional intensity or criticism, but they are more respectful and receptive when communication feels safe and actionable. And when you practice asking for your needs like this, you're not just helping them grow. You're helping you stay grounded and in secure energy. Because you have to remember, it's not your job to fix an avoidant. It's your job to communicate clearly and watch how they respond. And what do you do at the end of this deadline? At the end of your deadline, you check in with yourself. Have their behaviors changed, not just their words? Are they more emotionally present, even in small ways? Are your needs finally starting to be met? And if not, then it's time to stop waiting. Because without change, space is just distance. And you deserve more than just being in a relationship where you constantly question your worth. So now let's move on to questions that I often get from my clients. And the first question is, what if they say they want space, but they still check my social media or text randomly? And you have to know that this is classic avoidant behavior, needing distance, but not disconnection. So they might want to keep you emotionally accessible without being truly available. And it's important not to confuse crumbs of attention with commitment from their side. If their actions feel inconsistent, don't match their pace, match your standards. You're allowed to ask for clarity. If you need space, I respect that, but I also need consistency, not confusion. Another question is, how do I avoid triggering them without silencing myself? And it's a very delicate balance. The goal isn't to not trigger them. It's to communicate in a way that's emotionally honest and grounded. And that means staying connected to your own needs while avoiding to blame the avoidance. So first of all, use the I statements. Speak calmly and remember, if someone can't handle basic emotional communication, the issue isn't your delivery. It's they're not being ready. And the third question that often appears is, what if I give space and they don't come back at all? And if that happens, then that was the truth, not the problem. I know that's hard to hear, but space often reveals more than words do. If they don't return, it means they were never ready to meet you in the depth you crave. And that's not a failure for you. It's a revelation. And it frees you to stop waiting for someone who was never equipped to build the kind of emotional intimacy that you were ready for. So if this helps you, be sure to watch my other video that's called Why an Avoidant Falls Out of Love, because it will help you understand the moment their walls go up and what you can do without abandoning yourself. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It really helps more people find my videos. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.